Now listen, if you are a dub watcher for Yu-Gi-Oh! And have been for a very long time, you probably know that the dub or back then 4Kids had a lot of cut episodes when it came to Yu-Gi-Oh! GX and Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. But for today, I want to talk about my second favorite arc in 5Ds that I feel like you have to watch. This entire season alone was the biggest reason as to why I even became a sub-watcher in the first place, because if you did watch the dub for 5Ds and finished it, you were probably wondering, is that really it, and we're not going to do a season about the thing falling down. I looked up so many websites to find the season, only to find out they never dubbed it in the first place. And a lot of it was due to either low ratings or a multitude of other things like having to move on to the Zexal dub and the lawsuit from TV Tokyo. One thing that I do really like in the subs of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is how dark things can get compared to how 4Kids were with the dub. Obviously, in case anyone never watched the Art Cradle season, this gets dark really fast, but the purpose of this video is how could 4Kids have done the final season. A lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans are honestly grateful that the dub never came across the final season as much as there were another side wanting the dub. Now there is a lot of shit that I have to bring up. This isn't necessarily a review of the Art Cradle arc, that's for a different video, but I just want to talk about the things that 4Kids most likely would have 4Kids quote unquote to certain moments of the final season. The first thing was, lightly, Sherry bringing up Yusei's death if he enters the Art Cradle. What I will most likely bring up for 4Kids to counter that in a kid-friendly way is to say, you're not coming back, but not mentioning his death whatsoever. This is probably the lightest thing that I talk about in this video. Now next was Sherry's duel with Aki and Crow. The only thing I do remember is her parents' death, which was already censored to them, made their disappearing or being kidnapped. Then during the duel, this spell card had Sherry like it was about to snap her neck if she lost the duel, which I don't know how to censor that. Maybe just completely remove the hands or just put it somewhere else. I have no idea. Now obviously it's a good thing nothing bad happened because she was fine afterwards and had a change of heart, no pun intended, to that magic card. Now this is where things change. These parts of the final season make me wonder if it was ever going to be smart to dub this season, because the amount of things that happen from this point on, it's like, is it even possible? Now we gotta talk about the infamous Aporia duel with Lua, Luca, and Jack. Right off the bat, the tension and risk is at its peak, with this weird device being attached to their hearts, and if they lose the duel, they die. Needles pierce their clothing and skin, and if your life points hit 0, those needles would pierce your heart, killing you. How the fuck do you 4Kids that? That was a top 3 key element in the duel, and probably number 1 in knowing about what happens in the duel, with Lua hitting 0, temporarily dying, then coming back to life, and you hear the suffering and despair the twins go through. How can you make it work? In all honesty, I would not be surprised if they just cut the whole duel and just moved on to the next one. It's definitely one of the best duels in 5D's entirety, there's no debate about that in my opinion. But I mean, hey, the dub cut the Team Taio duel in the World Grand Prix or whatever it was, and that was one of the most underrated duels in 5D's, probably the. But you can't convince me that the kids would be comfortable watching that duel, and how bad the duel would be censored out from the bug, the electroshock that they would endure, or the actual damage. Then every single hit the needles pierce further and further. It's really tough to watch. Then Aporia seeming like he died after he lost, it's crazy to me. The Yusei and Bruno duel, this one was emotional. Bruno was a character that was with you throughout the entirety of the Grand Prix arc, and developed friendships with Team 5Ds. Revealed to be known as antinomy, they duel legitimately, which has been heavily teased for so long, even when Yusei was shook about Placido or Ghost. But here's the thing, the loser was going to be sucked into this whole pit of darkness for the rest of their life. In one word, they die. The duel was emotional in itself, and even when Yusei won, the hole was creeping closer and closer. Yusei was going to be trapped, but Bruno gave him one last push for him to escape and save Zone. The thing was that we've seen Yu-Gi-Oh! Deaths happen, but about 99% of them for beloved characters, they come back to life. Bruno, however, he didn't come back. He truly died. How do you 4Kids that is my true question. You can obviously say that the Netherworld, which is 5D's version of the Shadow Realm in the dub, it basically like sucked him in and he's not coming back. But it's just hard to know how emotional the duel was, and the fact that, again, Bruno never came back and he was gone forever. Do you just say that he's in the Netherworld and will never come back? I guess so, but I don't know. It's an insane duel to say the least. Now next is the death of Aporia, after he loses to Zone. You can say he is knocked out cold or something else, but he doesn't return anytime soon. He legitimately dies after attaching Yusei's dual runner with literal wings. Crazy, but also badass, not gonna lie. He turned into a good guy because of Lua. Showing hope gave him true feelings once again. He was the embodiment of 3 souls that all died during the Future City War. Luciano, Placido, Jose, they all died. Lua gave him hope and he used that in the duel with Zone. However, he lost and died to Zone, one of his true friends. Now we move into the final part. The future of Neo Domino City and the war that humans were going through. How the Doctor transformed himself into Yusei Fudo, who was deemed a hero in the city. In case anyone doesn't know who the Doctor is, it's Zone. The people needed something, some shine of light to guide them. He tried his absolute best giving the people hope, but it all ran out. Seeing the city crumble and hundreds of people dying on screen, falling through the cracks into lava or whatever. How do you censor that? Probably like Carly, where she died and had the purple netherworld lighting after falling through the Arcadia building after her first duel with Divine. It's a dark final season, and it's so damn good. There's probably a lot more things that I'm missing, but everything after Zone's battle and also his death, which is also another thing that would have to be for kids, this would be full of censoring, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm glad it didn't really get dubbed, because if it did, I couldn't imagine what could happen. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX was a victim to not having the final season happen as well, which is insane to me that both of these animes never got the proper dub ending, but everything afterwards I believe did. I wish they did in some capacity, but not from the licensing of 4Kids. I don't hate them because without them, I wouldn't be into Yu-Gi-Oh! They have a special place in my heart no matter how I feel about 4Kids whatsoever. They did their part in getting me into the animes, and I'm grateful for them. Now if I missed any integral part in this arc, let me know in the comments and what did you think of this video. I'm going to be making a lot more 5Ds content sooner or later, and Beyblade stuff will continue to happen no matter what. It's a little tough prioritizing this channel along with my main, but I don't think I'm doing terrible at all at least. But anywho, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and hit that subscribe button for content like this in the near future. And as always, I'll catch you guys in my next video.